we just talk about? Array, right? So an array is actually a way of implementing a list. It's a collection of data or information, right? And another way is linked list. We will look at the linked list in detail maybe in the next class, right? But for now, I just want you to know that at least two possible ways of implementing a list can either be an array, or either you create an array or a linked list. So, can anyone tell me what a stack is? Or what stacks are? And that's okay. I get what you are trying to say, right? It's a way of arranging the data, or manipulate. We call it manipulating the data, right? What do we do with the data that we have? So, what is another term that you always hear when we talk about stack, right? There is a stack, and there is another kind of opposite way. What is it? Queue, right? Queue. So what I would like to ask you at this point is, can I borrow your books here? Okay, thank you. So imagine that if you have a pile of books, or it could be a pile of dishes or plates, right? Like this, right? And if you have to get something from it, what do we normally do? We pick the item from the top of it, right? Is this stack or queue? Oh, I got both answers. What is it? Yeah, actually it's stack, right? So because maybe I should show you from the beginning. First I have this one, right? And then I add this one, and then this one, right? What comes in the last one is this book, right? And it will be the first item that we will get out of here, right? Normally, it's the way we do it, right? Except maybe some strange person try to get it from under here, but I think not, right? So it's a last in, the item that came in last come out first, right? We call it last in, first out, and it is like a definition of stack, as I will show you here. Okay, thank you. So a stack is a kind of list, right, that has the addition and deletion of item only from one end, which means that for when we put the book on top of the other, right? We only add one book to the top, right? And we take it out from the top as well. It's not that we take it out from the bottom, which means that since we only dealing with the top, we call it the addition and the deletion of item are done only from one end. And you can think of it as, like a stack of plates or dishes or books, like this. And it is the example of the last in, first out. Sometimes you might hear people call it LIFO or LIFO, right? And there is a term for it. When you add an item to the stack, you call it pushing onto the stack, right? And if you delete an item from a stack, it's called popping off the stack. And so these are some terms or terminology that might be useful, right? When we use the stack, we should have the following method. So push item, which means that we push an item onto the stack. Pop an item is like a deletion, right? You take an item off the stack. And when you have top, it means you return the value of top item. And empty, just in case if the stack is empty, this method or this command should return true. Now, want to talk about the opposite, of the stack, or the other way that contrasts to stack, which is queue. And a queue is a list in which the items are added at one end and delete from the other end. What does this mean, right? We can think of the real example in real life or situation in real life. So, for example, when you go in line to buy a ticket to see a movie, for example, you go on the back of the line, right, or the end of the line, and will you be the first person who got out of that line? Certainly not, right? It must be the people who wait before you who will get out first. So it means that the new people who come in have to join at the back of the line, right? And the people at the front of the line can buy the ticket first, or they will be the one who get the service first, and then they leave the line first, right? So this is the example of first in, first out, or some people call it FIFO. And there's some term to operating the queue, right? When you add an item to a queue, it's called appending to the queue. And when you delete an item, it's called serving from the queue, right? Or sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's called popping or pop from the queue, right? So this term can be different depending on, people might use different terms depending on what are their tradition, right? So in UK, in England, they might call it something else. In USA, they call it other things. But just want you to know that if you see the term like serving, you should know that it means the same as popping or deleting out of the queue.